The Florida housing market isn't just cooling, it's collapsing in some cities. Home prices are plunging by 15% to 25%, inventory is exploding, and desperate sellers are slashing prices by $50,000 to $100,000 just to attract attention. Mortgage payments have nearly doubled since 2021, insurance premiums are skyrocketing past $6,000 per year, and investors are fleeing fast. In these cities, the boom is officially over and the bust is hitting hard. If you're thinking about buying or selling in Florida, you need to know where the cracks are deepest. Here are the 10 Florida cities where the market is falling apart in 2025. Number 10. Bradenton. Bradenton, once a hidden Gulf Coast gem, is now facing a housing market unraveling faster than many expected. Just a year ago, the median home price in Bradenton peaked around $480,000, after rising more than 40% between 2020 and 2022. But by mid-2025, that number has tumbled to about $395,000, representing a sharp 17.7% decline. This dramatic drop is causing serious concern for homeowners who bought near the peak and are now underwater. One of the biggest warning signs is the surge in inventory. Bradenton had fewer than 1,200 active listings in 2022. Today, that number has exploded to over 2,600 homes, more than double the normal inventory. And with supply outpacing demand, price cuts are rampant. Over 52% of listings have seen at least one price reduction, with average cuts ranging from $25,000 to $60,000. Many buyers have exited the market, citing rising home insurance premiums, which now average $4,200 per year, nearly double what they were in 2021. Combined with 7% mortgage rates, a typical monthly payment on a median-priced Bradenton home has ballooned from $1,650 in 2021 to over $2,850 in 2021-2025. That's a crippling increase for middle-income families. New construction also played a role in the crash. Builders ramped up production during the pandemic boom, expecting demand to continue. Now, many of those homes are sitting vacant. In certain new developments east of I-75, entire blocks have for sale signs and zero foot traffic. Some builders are offering $30,000 in buyer incentives just to close deals. Bradenton's crash is a combination of oversupply, affordability collapse, and a reversal of pandemic migration. Without a major economic rebound or surge in demand, this once rising star may face continued decline into 2026. Number 9. Orlando. Orlando's housing market is no longer the fairy tale it was during the pandemic boom. After seeing home prices soar by nearly 50% from 2020 to 2022, the market is now in serious correction mode. As of mid-2025, the median home price in Orlando has dropped from its 2022 peak of $445,000 to around $379,000, marking a decline of roughly 15%. Inventory is the clearest warning sign. Listings in Orlando have surged past 10,000 active homes, nearly 80% more than just a year ago. With builders still completing projects they started during the boom, the glut of homes is growing fast. Newer developments in Lake Nona, Winter Garden, and Horizon West are sitting half-empty, while builders slash prices by $40,000 to $60,000 and throw in free upgrades and mortgage rate buydowns. Rising costs are driving buyers away. Mortgage rates hovering around 7% have pushed monthly payments on a typical home from $1,850 in 2021 to over $2,000, $3,000 today. Property insurance premiums are also climbing, with many Orlando homeowners now paying $3,200 to $4,000 annually. For middle-income buyers, the dream of owning in Orlando is slipping out of reach. Tourism-based employment is also adding volatility. Many Orlando residents work in travel, theme parks, and hospitality, which have seen ups and downs since the pandemic. Wage growth hasn't kept up with housing costs, and as layoffs ripple through Disney and Universal, local demand is softening even further. Orlando's market isn't just cooling, it's resetting. High supply, affordability stress, and waning investor interest are triggering price cuts across every zip code. If this trend continues, Orlando could see another 5 to 10% drop by early 2026. Number 8. Miami metro area. Miami, long considered one of the most glamorous and expensive real estate markets in the country, is facing a harsh market reversal. Home prices that once defied gravity are now coming back down to earth. After peaking at a jaw-dropping $615,000 for a single-family home in 2022, the median price has slipped to around $549,000 in mid-2025, a nearly 11% drop. But here's what's alarming. Condo prices, especially in areas like Brickell, Edgewater, and downtown, are falling even faster. Some luxury units that sold for $800,000 in 2022 are now listed for $650,000 and still not moving. Roughly 48% of listings across Miami-Dade and Broward counties have had at least one price cut. Affordability is a disaster. Monthly payments on the median Miami home now exceed $4,200, including taxes and insurance. Property insurance alone can cost $6,000 to $8,000 annually, especially for coastal or older properties. Many homeowners are finding themselves priced out of their own neighborhoods or unable to sell without taking a loss. Adding to the pain is the sharp decline in investor activity. Miami had one of the highest investor-to-home buyer ratios in 2021 and 2022, but by 2025, investor purchases have plummeted by more than 60%, as rising interest rates and stagnant rents make the math no longer work. Vacancy rates in luxury high-rises are rising, and short-term rental regulations are tightening, squeezing profits even more. Even international demand is drying up. With the strong dollar and global economic uncertainty, foreign buyers, who once made up 30% of the Miami market, are becoming scarce. While Miami remains iconic, its real estate market is now riddled with financial landmines. Unless wages catch up or rates drop significantly, this housing downturn might just be getting started. Number 7. Sarasota. Sarasota, with its white sand beaches and upscale art scene, was a pandemic paradise. But that storybook boom has turned into a cautionary tale. Median home prices soared to around $525,000 in 2022, up nearly 60% from 2019. Fast forward to 2025 and prices have tumbled by 14%, settling closer to $451,000 and falling fast in certain luxury zip codes. Inventory in Sarasota has ballooned. The area currently has over 4,300 active listings, a 70% jump compared to the same period last year. In popular areas like Lakewood Ranch, Palmer Ranch, and even barrier islands like Siesta Key, sellers are offering deep discounts. Over 50% of listings have been reduced, with typical cuts between $35,000 to $75,000. Rising costs are eating buyers alive. A typical monthly payment on a median Sarasota home has surged from $1,950 in 2021 to over $3,250 today, thanks to higher interest rates and escalating insurance premiums. Coastal homes especially are facing insurance quotes exceeding $6,500 per year. Retirees, once the foundation of Sarasota's housing market, are pulling back. Many are opting to rent or relocate to cheaper inland markets. Meanwhile, younger buyers are priced out and remote workers have stopped flocking in like they did during 2020 to 2021. New construction oversupply is also an issue. Developments that once sold out in days are now sitting half vacant, with builders offering $20,000 incentives and interest rate buydowns to attract buyers. Sarasota's market is now in full correction mode. With unaffordable pricing, shrinking demand, and ballooning inventory, prices could dip another 5 to 8% before the market finds solid ground again. Number 6. Deltona. Deltona, nestled between Orlando and Daytona Beach, was once a quiet sleeper town that exploded in popularity during the pandemic housing rush. Prices skyrocketed as buyers fled larger cities in search of affordability. In 2020, the median home price hovered around $210,000, but by late 2022, it had ballooned to $350,000, a jaw-dropping 66% increase in just 2 years. But what goes up fast often comes down harder. As of mid-2025, Deltona's median home price has plunged back down to about $298,000, a decline of over 14%, with many zip codes seeing drops exceeding 20%. First-time buyers who purchased at the top are already underwater, stuck with homes worth less than their mortgage balances. Inventory is the smoking gun. Active listings have surged over 120% year-over-year. Builders who were once sold out are now stuck with unsold inventory in subdivisions across Volusia County. Some are slashing prices by $25,000 to $50,000 and offering to cover closing costs to move inventory. Affordability is slipping out of reach. In 2021, a 3% mortgage gave homeowners a monthly payment around $980 on a median Deltona home. Today, at 7%, that payment has surged to over $2,150, even before factoring in property taxes and insurance. Deltona also suffers from wage stagnation. Median household income is under $58,000, making these new mortgage payments unsustainable for the average resident. Add to that rising homeowner insurance costs, now averaging $3,600 annually, and many families are pulling out of the market entirely. Deltona's crash is a mix of overbuilding, wage-price mismatch, and evaporating demand. Unless incomes rise or rates drop significantly, this once-booming market may continue its downward slide well into 2026. Number 5. Northport. Northport was one of Florida's hottest housing markets during the post-COVID boom. It drew thousands of out-of-state buyers seeking space, new builds, and sunshine. Prices soared from around $240,000 in 2020 to over $460,000 in early 2021-2022, nearly doubling in under 24 months. But now, the correction is here, and it's brutal. As of mid-2025, the median home price in Northport has fallen to $392,000, a drop of roughly 15%. However, in certain neighborhoods on the city's outskirts, especially near warm Mineral Springs and Toledo Blade Boulevard, prices are down 18 to 22%. Some new construction homes that once sold for $500,000 are now listed for $430,000 or less, with no offers. The inventory situation is severe. Northport now has over 2,100 active listings, up from just 850 in 2022. This 147% increase is flooding the market with unsold properties. Many homes are sitting on the market for over 75 days compared to just 15 days during the boom. Builders are panicking. Some are offering $25,000 plus incentives, free appliance packages, and temporary 5.25% mortgage buydowns to lure hesitant buyers. But even these offers aren't enough. Affordability is a major roadblock. Monthly payments have nearly doubled since 2021, rising from around $1,200 to over $2,400 on the average home. Another issue? Insurance. Many Northport homes are in flood-prone zones, and policies have become extremely expensive. Annual premiums now range from $4,500 to $7,000, depending on location and age of the home. Northport's crash is being driven by oversupply, unaffordable monthly costs, and declining out-of-state migration. What was once Florida's fastest rising market is now one of its hardest falling. Without major recovery drivers, prices here may keep sliding through 2026. Number 4. Jacksonville. Jacksonville's housing market is no stranger to wild swings, but the 2025 crash is proving to be one of its most dramatic shifts. After peaking at a median home price of $410,000 in early 2022, prices have fallen to about $355,000, a decline of around 13.5%, with deeper drops in areas like Arlington, Westside, and Southside. During the boom, Jacksonville was a magnet for remote workers and investors, but in 2025, that energy has disappeared. Inventory has more than doubled, from 5,200 homes in 2022 to over 11,000 listings this year. Many neighborhoods now look like open house rows with price-reduced banners on every block. What's fueling the crash? Affordability has collapsed. A home that cost $1,750 per month in 2021 with a 3% mortgage now requires over $3,100 in monthly payments with a 7% mortgage, taxes, and insurance included. That's nearly 80% higher while wages haven't kept up. Median household income in Jacksonville is still around $66,000. Jacksonville's insurance premiums have also spiked, especially for older homes near the coast or flood zones. Annual premiums now average $3,800, with many topping $5,000. This is pricing out would-be buyers and forcing sellers to accept lowball offers just to get out. Investor pullback is another factor. Jacksonville saw investor purchases make up 20% of all sales in 2021. But now, investor activity has dropped by over 60%, leaving vacant rental units and putting downward pressure on prices. Even builders are scaling back. Permits for new construction are down and developers are canceling projects, trying to offload unsold spec homes with $30,000 discounts and temporary rate buydowns. Jacksonville's housing market isn't collapsing as fast as Northport or Cape Coral, but it's on a steady, painful decline. With affordability strained and demand drying up, more price erosion is likely through 2025. Number 3. West Palm Beach. West Palm Beach is witnessing one of the sharpest housing reversals in Florida's coastal real estate scene. After a pandemic-driven surge that sent median home prices soaring from $330,000 in 2020 to nearly $530,000 by mid-2022, the 2025 market is delivering a harsh correction. As of July 2025, the median price has slid to around $455,000, a significant 14% drop, with many properties, especially condos, seeing declines closer to 18%. One of the biggest challenges facing the West Palm Beach market is oversupply. Active listings have climbed to over 4,800, nearly double what they were during the 2021 frenzy. The luxury condo market is particularly stressed, with buildings along Flagler Drive and downtown West Palm seeing dozens of vacant units, many previously owned by investors hoping to flip or rent short-term. Affordability is another red flag. Mortgage rates at 7% mean the average buyer is now paying over $3,800 per month for a median-priced home compared to $2,100 just a few years ago. Add skyrocketing insurance premiums, averaging $5,500 to $7,000 annually, and buyers are being completely priced out of the market. The investor pullout is also hitting West Palm Beach hard. During the 2021 to 2022 boom, investor activity made up nearly 35% of all home purchases. But now, with rents flattening and mortgage costs rising, investor demand has dried up. Homes once marketed as Airbnb-ready are sitting empty. Sellers are slashing prices aggressively. Over 58% of listings have seen at least one reduction, with typical cuts ranging from $40,000 to $90,000. Even cash buyers are holding off, hoping prices fall further. West Palm Beach is now a buyer's market, but few are biting. Unless insurance costs drop or wages surge, this market correction could deepen into early 2026, turning what was once a hot market into one of Florida's coldest. Number 2. Tampa metro area. Tampa's housing market, once hailed as one of America's fastest-growing, is now enduring a dramatic downturn. In 2021, Tampa topped national charts for price appreciation, with home values jumping over 30% year-over-year. But what goes up fast often crashes even faster. The median home price in Tampa soared to nearly $460,000 in 2022, but by mid-2025, it has plummeted to around $395,000, marking a 14% plus decline, with deeper dips in outlying suburbs like Wesley Chapel, Riverview, and Spring Hill. Inventory is ballooning. Tampa now has over 12,500 active listings, a 75% increase from the previous year. New builds from the pandemic era continue to hit the market, flooding an already oversupplied landscape. Many listings sit unsold for over 90 days, and builders are slashing prices by $50,000 plus, offering free upgrades, and buying down mortgage rates just to close. Affordability has completely broken down. With a 7% interest rate, a median Tampa home now demands a monthly payment over $3,200, compared to $1,850 in 2021. Meanwhile, homeowner insurance costs, especially in flood-prone Hillsborough and Pasco counties, have surged past $4,800 per year, pushing total monthly costs even higher. Tampa was also heavily targeted by investors and out-of-state buyers during the pandemic. In 2021, investors made up 1 in 4 purchases, but now investor activity has collapsed, dropping nearly 60%. Many are selling at a loss, flooding the market with vacant rentals and price-reduced signs. Adding pressure is slowing migration. Fewer people are relocating to Florida than in 2021 to 2022, and rising property taxes are making many longtime residents reconsider. Over 61% of listings in the metro have been reduced, an ominous signal. Without a major interest rate cut or wage boom, Tampa's housing correction could worsen, potentially dropping another 8 to 10% through 2025. The city's real estate rocket has turned into a roller coaster, heading downhill. Number 1. Cape Coral. Cape Coral is ground zero for Florida's 2025 housing crash. This once booming city saw some of the fastest appreciation during the pandemic, with median home prices soaring from $240,000 in 2020 to a staggering $470,000 in 2022, a near 96% increase. But now the bubble has burst. As of mid-2025, median prices have cratered to around $385,000, marking a jaw-dropping 18% plus drop, with some areas like Northwest Cape seeing declines over 25%. The inventory glut is overwhelming. Cape Coral currently has over 5,300 active listings, up from just 2,000 in 2022, a 165% increase. Builders flooded the market with new homes during the boom, but now those homes sit empty. Some builders are offering $60,000 plus price cuts, free pools, or mortgage rate buydowns to attract any interest. Buyers are nowhere to be found. A 7% mortgage rate on a $385,000 home equals a monthly payment of roughly $3,100, up from just $1,600 in 2021. Insurance is another dagger. Average premiums are now $6,000 to $9,000 per year, especially near canals and flood zones. These costs are crushing demand, especially for working-class families. Investor panic is spreading. Cape Coral was a favorite for cash buyers, house flippers, and out-of-state landlords. In 2021, investors made up over 35% of purchases. Now they're dumping properties en masse. Short-term rental income has declined and local ordinances are tightening. More than 65% of listings in Cape Coral have seen price cuts, with many homes relisted multiple times. Entire neighborhoods that once buzzed with construction now feel eerily quiet. Loan delinquencies are ticking up and distressed sales are returning. Cape Coral's stunning crash is a warning to every overbuilt Sunbelt city. What was once paradise for investors has turned into a cautionary tale, one where the American dream melted under a Florida sun that got far too hot.